We mentioned that you were, once a fan, now a contributor. Why did you continuously listen to us? Like, what is it that you were getting out of listening to the podcast in itself?
Right.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
6 months. This has been, we've known each other within, a 6 month period. You tap into the podcast, and you continue to listen to it, which is kind of okay.
No,
how has the 6 month been to you, and why are you listening to it?
It's been good. I mean, I read a lot of books too. I know I've heard this guy reads a lot of Francis read a lot of Audible and all that. I do a lot of that, and you're hearing it from people you don't really know. You're hearing all these different advices that you can't really connect to. But I listen to you guys, and I know you guys, and just hearing the stories. Some of it are things that I've heard before. Some of it are things that you just hear. They're just tidbits here and there, But just hearing it from you just brings a different light to it. It brings a different light. You connect to it more. I mean, just the substance of it, the stories. I mean, they go a long way. They go a long way. So I connect to it. In terms of just the knowledge, in terms of just the different quotes, the different things about life. On staying on your path. Not staying at home, watching Netflix, going out there, being a yes person. Oh yeah, I'm a yes man. Somebody asks you, let's go out to this, this event here. You never know what could happen at those events like that. So just getting out and just connecting, and rather than staying just the different episodes have been pretty good. And then also one thing I like also is just how you guys connect to people in the community. I've learned a lot about different businesses that I didn't even know about.
Let's get it.
Different places, man. You should probably check this place out. It's just the little tidbits about Raleigh and this area to try and go. I think that's pretty good.
Hell of an intro. I tell you what you info, but I never really been the type of dude to give no info. But if you see your ends low and you trying to get a benzo, I'll give your ass some game that'll change the way that you think, bro. Super skilled with the pencil, super ill in my mental. I reminisce on life, I'm nice, here's my memento. Get it through your tempo, I get on any tempo and give it all I got. I'm hot, I got like 10 flows, trying to live on the 10th floor, across from residentials that I own. My mind stay grown, I used to think clothes, I really used to think hoes and what I do to get those, and then I switched it up. I'm only
with
thinking
another one.
potential.
You know what time it is? The Walk and Grow Podcast, episode 16. Yeah, 16. I already know. You know why I remember this one? It's because I did the last one. That's exactly how I remember this one, man. I hope all you guys are doing great. We have a really, really great special guest here. And I say great because you guys are going to be able to hear his story. This is what we do. True impact. You want impact? Just listen. Tune in. Listen to the things we say. Listen to the things we do. You will directly get impacted one way or another because why? That's what we do. That is how that's why we started this podcast. It's because obviously Francis and I, we talk a lot, but it's not just about us. And we identify that at a really early stage that we have to do something where we have to share our conversations. Our conversations literally enlighten us every single time we speak. So we want to be able to enlighten you, and you'll be able to hear at its finest someone who's been enlightened by our words of wisdom that we have been able to share.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so it's one of those things where the more you do it, the more you appreciate the impact that it has on other people. So we've been fortunate enough to have a platform that allows us to, show exactly what we're doing, and also, amplify the message. And people get to see it, and they get to appreciate it, they get to join in the journey. So I like it. It's fun. I'm glad we're doing this. And we got Michael in the house today.
Thank you, Francis. Thank you, Ron.
Absolutely, man.
It's
Glad
good to
have
be
you
here. Yep, good to be here. I've been a fan. I've been watching a lot of the episodes, so I'm glad to be on one finally. So.
He's a fan turned into a contributor.
That's
Look
right.
at that.
And that's good. I'm just thinking in terms of what are the chances? How many people do you know that are listening to this right now who are also fans that want to be on the podcast? Yeah. So you're the first out of many people. That's awesome.
Now you could walk around with, hey, I'm the one of one.
That's
I
right.
was the first one.
That's right, man.
I paved the way for you.
Yeah,
exactly.
No, it's valuable information. Good information, impactful. I think anytime I listen to it, it just adds something to my life. So
Yeah.
it's good to hear it. Yep.
Yeah.
There you go. I mean, tell the people about yourself. Like, who are you? Let's start there.
Yep. My name
Actually,
is-
before we get there, I think it's important to understand why Michael is here and
Okay.
how did we get to like,
Okay.
You
Okay.
know,
The backstory. You
yeah,
want
like did we just go to the street and find Michael in the streets and brought him here?
maybe. Maybe not.
Yeah. So Michael and I met. True. Michael and I met at a TEDx talk, and it was
Well-
sometime in the fall of last year.
Why'd you
and-
go to that TEDx talk?
Well, for me, it was an opportunity to network. I
Mm.
knew what kind of individual I need to, kind of surround myself with and tap into their mind and share ideas and see who I can help and who can help me. Kind of just, expanding your mind, a workout for your mind. Let's just put it that way.
Okay.
So going there was, that experience. And then, I got to meet him. I got to meet a couple other, cool folks out there. So it was a good experience. But that's where we cross path, and we're here today. It's been what, if I have roughly, we're looking at 6 months now. Yeah.
Right around November, I believe.
Yeah.
Mm.
Time flies.
Yeah.
Time flies.
Especially
But yeah.
when you're doing things.
Right. So now that people kind of have the picture, okay, we know where this guy came from. You can now tell us somewhat of your story. How did you end up in North Carolina with us? Like, where did
Absolutely.
the journey really start?
Okay. Yeah. Like Francis and Ron said, my name is Michael Aromeh. I'm originally Nigerian. I moved to the U.S. In 2008 for college. Went to college in Louisiana Tech, chemical engineering. Graduated. Started working in Louisiana, and then I moved to Seattle as a quality manager for a glass manufacturing company. And then I moved to back to Louisiana, then to Illinois, and then found myself here in Raleigh, North Carolina. Definitely a city that I've always looked to move to. Always knew good things about it, and as soon as I got a chance to move, I jumped on it. So yeah, moved over here, and I've loved it since. Really nice city. Yeah.
That's awesome. Would you say out of all the move and back and forth, you kind of, for somebody like myself who has moved multiple times, you kind of get in an environment where you know exactly how to maneuver certain within your plans. Would you say that moving to Raleigh will kind of somewhat easier because of all the other experiences that you went
absolutely.
through, or was it more much more complicated, and like how was that just committing to moving here?
Yeah.
And why was Raleigh one of the few cities on your list? Like, what made it stand out?
Those are good questions. Yeah, definitely. Over the years, just always changing locations. Moving to Raleigh was definitely a easy move. I think I was a little bit used to moving at that point. So it was pretty good. In terms of why I chose Raleigh, the reason I chose Raleigh was I knew Raleigh had a lot of educated professionals, a lot of people with PhDs. Just a good. It's known for an area for probably one of the most educated number of people.
Right.
In a little area.
Yeah.
So I knew that there would be a lot of opportunities. I knew there was going to be a lot of growth. And then also the industries around here. I do like the pharmaceutical, biotech, and all that industry. So I was really, really interested in kind of plugging into that.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I mean, you moved here for a completely different reason than why I moved here. I was not looking at no one as educated. How educated was I? Looked at it as I get the hell out the cold.
Yeah,
True.
that too, though.
Yeah.
That
That
was a
is
factor
it.
for me too.
I said, yo, I can't. It was one of my I always knew I was gonna get out of CT. It was just a matter of when.
Right.
And the reason why was just the cold, man. Look at me, man. I'm scrawny. I'm not built for that.
Yeah, I can relate. I moved here from Illinois, so yeah, the Windy
yeah.
City. Yeah, I was there for almost 6 years. So yep.
I heard this thing about the Illinois. Do they have, since it is considered the windy city, do they have like alleys where it gets really windy, where you guys like everyone just kind of goes hide in the alley until the wind stops?
Absolutely, I'm telling you. Yeah, the wind is. Yeah, that lake effect.
I've heard about that before.
Yep.
Interesting.
Yeah. So.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I never thought about that. I never actually sat down and kind of wonder why was it called the Windy City, but interesting. And you survived that. You made it here.
I made it, man. I made it. So yep, survivor. So yeah, I can deal with any kind of cold now.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Once you deal with with the
With up north or
up
just,
north
yeah.
cold, you're ready for
Yeah.
to tackle life.
We did it. We made it, and these just hating.
Yeah. It's funny that, well, it's not funny. It's interesting that you mention, coming here for the reason that you mentioned. I'm not gonna repeat them, but it makes sense because now I think of it as well. The prestige that cities like Boston gets for the education that schools that they have. They have a lot of different schools within a certain radius.
Yeah.
And if you think about it, North Carolina is set up exactly the same way.
If anything,
And yeah, right.
more concentrated.
Right, there's this area, the
Yeah.
triangle. The triangle is more concentrated, and you have a lot more,
Yeah.
kind of discipline in terms of subject matters. So
Exactly.
you're different subject expert in different fields.
Yeah.
It's an area. I like what you mentioned there. There are really some professional who are here with the right intentions, and being able to meet those individuals and be in a room with them is how you grow. So once you identify that early, that's cool. I didn't have that at first when I moved because I was still trying to identify my purpose. My main goal moving was the fact that I will have a lot more opportunities here for somebody my age. Not a lot of young, individuals strive from the get-go in New England. I'm not sure why, unless you're surrounded by the wrong crew. The location doesn't really play a factor in how you thrive. It could, but it's for me, I just think it's important to get out your comfort zone. And I was comfortable in New England. By getting myself out of there, I really realized, okay, what exactly I need to start doing, and what in that, hence rediscovering that, okay, being in the right room with the right people is important.
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah,
Plugging
so-
yourself in.
Right. Yeah, and that's how you expose yourself to opportunity. That's how you utilize your skill set and be able to help other individuals as well, is by being available in those rooms, because they need you just as much as you need them.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so-
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, you mentioned that you went to school for a chemical engineer, right?
Correct.
Are you currently doing anything in chemical engineer?
Yeah, I would not as I thought when I was a freshman or when I chose the major chemical engineering. I always thought I would be in like Houston or Dallas. They have a lot of oil rig, working on a company like Shell or Chevron, doing working on the fields or working with some kind of chemical company. But life does throw you different things,
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, I started one path thinking that's what I wanted. And then I got moved. When I graduated, I got an opportunity to go into manufacturing. I think right now I'm getting more aligned to chemical engineering by working in a
There you go.
dietary supplement company, and then also growing in that field. So I think I am using somewhat of chemical engineer, what a chemical engineer would fit in. Like my boss is a chemical engineer as well. So yeah, I think I'm going the right direction.
There you go. You're you're one of few that actually stick with their major
Oh yeah.
and actually go through the entire process where they
Exactly.
actually can practice it
Yeah.
on a daily basis. So, congrats to you, man.
Man,
You
thank
made it.
We made it, man.
Right.
We made it.
Right.
We made it.
And then when you you kept it,
Yeah.
you're still within the same
Yeah.
field, which is, I'm
That's-
curious to know what the percentages are on that, but I know it's definitely less than half of individuals stick with their major.
Yeah.
Now, when you went in school, chemical engineering, okay, kind of, did you know from the get-go that's what you wanted to do? Like when you when you started
Oh,
freshman year,
Yeah,
or
yeah,
like,
freshman year I was already decided. So
You
I
already
I
knew.
went in as a chemical engineer.
and so you didn't change in
I
between,
didn't change it at all.
and
yeah.
it took you 4 years
It
to
took
get
me
it.
4 years to
Okay.
get it. Yep.
And that's the perks of knowing exactly what
Yeah,
you wanted
4
to
years.
do. So it took you
Exactly.
exactly the amount of time that you needed.
Exactly, because I knew early.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, and for those of us who change, I was one of them.
Me too.
In between,
Yeah.
more than once.
Yeah.
I will say, it took us longer.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
maybe a semester longer. Mine was just a semester
Yeah,
longer.
I think I
For
heard
some
that on one of the
additional classes.
episodes.
Yeah.
Mine was actually an entire year
Yeah.
where that pushed me back
Right.
by changing my major
Major,
because I
yeah.
changed it at a way too late of a stage.
Mhm.
So I had most prereqs done, but it's those classes specific for that major. I had nowhere close of it done. So it pushed me back an entire year
Yeah.
for me to get all that done.
Because
and get
certain
out of there.
classes are only available in the fall. You got to get
Yep.
the spring one
Yeah.
before you get the. I mean, you got to get the fall class before you get
Yeah.
the the
Yeah.
one in the
True,
spring and
right.
it's
True,
oh
right.
my goodness,
It's a headache. It's a headache.
it's a scam.
They want you in there longer.
Yeah,
pay more tuition.
exactly.
Yeah, no, exactly. That's,
Just
I mean,
condense the two course into one and save me money. You get what I'm
Seriously.
saying?
Did you take
Right.
any like summer courses along the way, or
Oh
did
yes, I did.
you did?
I
So
did.
you
Mhm.
probably could have been there a little bit longer than too
Yeah.
if you didn't take those.
Yeah. The summer courses definitely helped.
Yeah, I hear summer courses are a real cheat code
Yeah, it is.
to college. Yeah.
It is.
To college.
And I told
specifically.
and I told my girl the same thing. It's like it allows you to focus on one subject.
Yeah.
One or two. You know, you're not just taking like 4 or 5 and you have to go left and right and kind of
Right.
split your energy in all these classes.
Yeah.
You really have to focus on a couple, and it's cheaper.
It's
Yes.
cheaper.
Yeah,
Yeah, you
it's
get-
Yes.
cheaper.
Yeah, I definitely
It's
took
cheaper.
advantage of the summer classes. Definitely did. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
The same course, the same material,
course,
different time. The price difference also plays a significant factor. That is amazing.
Yeah.
You're telling me I should have just went to school in the summer.
Pretty much. Pretty much. I
Just
mean,
in the
you
summer.
do the bare minimum during the year,
Yeah.
and you knock them all the major
In the
courses
summer.
in the summer.
Yeah.
Because think about it, what were we really doing in the summer anyway?
In during the semester, right?
Well, I mean, comparing to the semester, you have other classes, but in the summer, what are you really doing? Everybody's just probably working,
yeah,
chilling,
yeah.
vacation.
Trying to make some money on left and on the
exactly.
side. Yeah.
So you have that time to literally. I recommend, hey, do an entire semester
Yeah.
in the summer.
Yeah.
Because those courses, they don't cover nearly half of
Right.
what is covered in an actual semester.
Semesters.
That's what I was about to say next. And most of the professors that are usually very strict or mean during the regular, during the
They're
summer,
kind of
they kinda
lenient.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
you're right.
Yeah.
Make an
You're
easy
right.
A.
Make
Yeah.
it easy.
You just show up, it's an A already.
Wow.
That's very true.
There goes your gems for anybody that's looking to get into college, that is in college. Look at those summer courses. Summer is right around the corner. I mean, semester's about to end for a lot
Right.
of people.
Yeah.
I mean, give it a month and a half or so, and that's it.
And you can
So-
also use it as an opportunity to get ahead for the following semester.
Yes.
So like
To get
you
out
know,
earlier.
okay, what classes do I? Because right now, a lot of people are already looking to set up the calendar for the fall semester.
Right.
You can
If
be
they
like, okay,
didn't
what
already.
classes do I don't really want to deal with in the fall that I can take in the summer?
Mhm.
There goes your time, because 9 times out of 10, you're gonna be waking up at noon in the summer
Yeah.
anyway. So you use your morning to do these
do that,
courses
yeah.
and knock
Take the
something
hard
out.
classes
Exactly.
too. That's another good one.
Right. Yeah. Take the hard classes out of the way, so you have more time to
GPA,
do other
GPA,
things.
yeah.
Yeah. More time to work. You know,
Yeah.
if you want to make money during the semester,
Uh-huh.
it gives you more time to work. It's just, what do you value in that
Yeah.
equation?
You mentioned that you knew going into college that you knew you wanted to do chemical engineering. How'd you know that?
Yeah, so I had two options or two majors that were I knew I was kind of good at from high school. So architecture was one. I was actually better at architecture than I was chemistry or anything chemical engineering. But I really wanted to challenge myself to do something that I thought I probably couldn't do. Because even when I chose chemical engineering, my mom looked at me and said, "Man, boy, what are you doing? What are you doing?" So, I mean, I'm like, I can do this. So,
Right.
yeah.
It's a
so-
challenge to
yep,
yourself.
It was
Yep.
a challenge, and I just went in, and yeah.
Have you always been that type of person to challenge yourself, or is it something that you just said, you know what, let me give it a shot?
Oh, you discovered it as you went. Like, what would you say?
Yeah, I would say I've always been that kind of person that would challenge myself. Yeah, that would want to kind of push myself to, doing something that I'm not really comfortable doing. So.
What are you looking to gain out of it, though, like in terms of when you challenge yourself?
So, for example, when you pick that chemical,
Mhm.
engineering is like, okay, how out of all the other things you could have picked to challenge yourself,
Yeah,
how
why
did you
challenge
resort to
yourself?
that?
Yeah. I would say because a lot of people said, out of all the engineering, chemical engineering is probably one of the hardest. Yeah, and I know civil was also said as one of the hard majors, but yeah, chemical engineering was one of the hardest, and it was something that I could see myself doing.
Andrew.
So yeah, so I think it was just based on how hard it is, what
That's
people
it,
have
yeah.
said in terms of it being the hardest, and I just wanted to.
Prove them wrong. That's what you wanted to do.
Pulled me in.
Yeah,
So yeah.
that's awesome. Yeah. So you went through that journey. I'm sure it was, some ups, some down. Like college, everybody goes through college. You had your moment. You find yourself, traveling for work. What beside, I know you said you came here for school, but beside the school aspect, what else, did you get into? Was there other area of interest that you deemed relevant while you were in school, or was it for you your focus at the time was mostly school? This is before you started working.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. In college, I was very, very involved. Just right up the back after my freshman year, I joined the National Society of Black Engineers. So I kind of got involved there. We did a lot of things in the community, like like a walk for education, walking around, passing pamphlets to the younger ones, to get into college. So yeah, I was very involved in that. We went to a couple of conferences in different cities and states, things like that. And then I actually joined the board. So I was actually the secretary in my chapter, a telecom chair first, and then secretary. So I got involved there. And then also there was like the National Society of Leadership and Success I was part of as well. So I definitely plugged myself in while I was in college, just to get a lot out of it. My college was kind of known as there's not a lot of things around Louisiana Tech, man. So it's a very college school. Once you're in college town, so once you're in there, there's no much party, no much stuff to do. You have to drive a little ways to
get to
that.
So
yeah, so that just kept me focused all throughout, and
That's a gem right there. I think being in a college town where there's not much going on, it's a great way to just stay focused. What would you say? UConn was like that? Would you say?
I think it would be unfair to say that colleges don't have where there's not a lot of noise. Most colleges, people found ways to,
right? Because that's what I'm.
To still tap into some things.
Yeah, no, exactly. Even UConn, they don't have too much going on, but I found my way.
You can find. Yeah, if you're around, depends on who you're around.
Right.
To me, I knew being around the athletes, I knew exactly what parties, what is happening. And that's how I got into a lot of events. Just being around athletes, I got into events for free. But I was also providing a service because I was getting them sneakers left and right. So it's not just that,
Yeah, you were there.
I was there.
You was the paparazzi.
Right. Yeah. So it was an exchange of work that we did together throughout the 4 years that I was in school. Right. So I knew, okay, if I want to go to an event and kind of party, I know who to associate myself. If I want to know what community service is happening on a Saturday, I know who to associate myself with. Right. Things like that. So knowing there's always things happening in a college town, it's just knowing who you're around will tell you what information you have access to.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. Yep.
Yeah.
That's true.
Now, we talked a lot about kind of just who you are, what you do. I kind of want to get a little bit deeper, if you don't mind. What do you, if you have figured this out yet? Because again, this is something that I don't think a lot of people think about. So I really want you to, if you haven't thought about it, that's perfectly fine. Just be like, hey, I'm not there yet. But what would you say that you're here for, like, in terms of, like, your purpose, your passion? Like, what is it that you're truly indeed looking to do? What does that look like for you?
Yeah, that's a really good question, and that's a loaded question too. Oh man, my passion. I feel like right now, I'm working in the dietary supplement field. I really want to grow in that field. I feel like I want to learn a lot into everything that goes in there. I know because I have to deal with the FDA a lot, FDA and everything in terms of regulatory things there. So it's a little bit of both. I want to grow in my career to be able to reach the pinnacle of my career, meaning, get into, regulatory, working with the government or whatever, or growing within my company as well. And then also building my income that way. And then on the other hand, I want to give back. I want to start something, I want to, something where I can maybe have a company or own some kind of business where, I have a lot of people, and then siphoning my money into that as well, and then growing that, and they're just giving back that way, and eventually maybe focusing on that. In terms of what that is, that's the big question. Yeah, that's the big question. I've thought about just different things that I'm good at over the years, and just still working through that. So I have nothing solid yet, but still kind of working through what that would look like.
Gotcha.
Yeah. The beautiful thing with that is that you're already aware that, of somewhat of what the direction you want to take. It might not be a full mapped out plan,
Right.
with
Right.
steps and plans, but you know that this is not the end. Where you are today is not the end, and that's
Mhm.
beautiful. So you know that you want to move in these different direction. I have a question. I know you said for on your personal side, you're still trying to put these things together, but you want to have that running to where you're able to give back and do make your money work for you basically. For the career path, how and this is a question, you're the first one to get it, but it's a question that's been sitting on my desk for quite some time, but it's a question worth asking. I don't give two damn about moving up the corporate ladder because I know that's not for me. But for an individual like yourself who want to continue up that ladder, how do you know that your ladder is leaning against the right building? How do you know that you're going to be moving up and doing all these things? How do you know that you're going to get to the top and not like it? Let's put it that way. How do you know you're going to get to the top and actually enjoy the hard work that you put in all these years that you put, getting there? So to me, the question is, how do you know that your ladder is your career path, which is your ladder, is leaning on the right building?
That's a good question. I think again, I think it's all about alignment. A lot about alignment. I feel like right now, I'm aligned with something because I do like what I do. Yeah, I like what I do.
That's a great
I like the industry that I'm in. In terms of what do I see in terms of what's above me. When I look at like my bosses, like with current company I am, and people that are a little bit on the next level, CEO, and I think that's one of my yardsticks. Watching those guys and just seeing how they deal with their level and seeing if I would like to be in their shoes. And just the kind of people they are and how they deal with stuff. I think all of that too is kind of the way I see my ladder leaning on the building, because I can see, you can actually watch them and get a lot out of them, and also a lot of the questions and mentorship and all that good stuff. Right. I think that is one way. And then the other way is, I do know that I do want to grow. And if I don't see that, there's always opportunities elsewhere.
Right.
So, I can always realign myself to somewhere else that I feel like has more to offer in terms of climbing up and also me doing something that I still love.
Right.
Know?
Two things that you touched on there. One is the fact that you get to do it and try and see if you actually like it or not. Yes, that's a gamble on time, but it's you get to then remove it at the end and say, hey, it's not, I tried it, been there, done that. It's not an avenue that I want to follow, but you don't have to question it anymore. Exactly. It's out your mind. And the second thing is basically what you're saying about having the ability to even continue in that direction and that vision. You're being in these rooms and you already seen how somebody at that level who you're trying to get is behaving, is acting, is treating, how their lifestyle is. So you're able to see that it's something that I can do. It's a part. Right. It's a lifestyle that I can see myself in. Exactly. There's nothing that makes you different than me. Exactly. You being there is just you just got that little experience over me, but I can complete the same task as you. Exactly. So I think you got. And I'm like that because we were talking about being in the right room and at the beginning. Mm-hmm. By you being in the right rooms, it's giving you that vision to then start chasing your what's next. Yeah. It's
you're reading my mind right now.
But that's I like it. I like it that you're able to identify that. Hey, I'm not just going to be around, anybody. If my goal is to advance my career, I see myself, because, what you're doing is what I would have done if I wanted to move up the career ladder. I know how to add value to a company to where they need me, right? Because that's how you show you're important to a company. Right. There's no such thing as something for nothing in the word in general. So you have to provide something for you to add value to something. So once you understand that, it's up to you. How much value do you want to add? I know where I'm at right now. I'm good. I'm not trying to climb the corporate ladder. I'm comfortable. I got the flexibility, the time, everything the way I want to line up. For an individual like yourself, you're in this room, it gives you more vision, and you're like, okay, no, I want to climb that ladder and and get to the top, which is which is what you really want to do. You're not gonna learn these things by putting yourself in a room and watching Netflix all day. You don't get those inspiration being there. In fact, doing that will teach you maybe how to blow money, how to go out there and spend your money. Consumers. Some of them, some of it is good, because you can again, everything comes down to how you filter it. I got friends today, we can sit and smoke a blunt together. I got friends today, we can sit and have a drink. I got friends we can sit and open a Bible. I got friends we can sit and talk about business. It's how much time you're gonna split all that, and surround yourself with this individual. Where is your balance? We can all live in harmony. It's just how do you calibrate that?
Put your energy in the one
exactly
in the direction you want to go.
Interesting. Okay, so I mean, clearly you're the people that you look up to have influenced you. How have they influenced you though? Like, what would you say? Excuse me, is one thing that helped you? And look, this is kind of a weird question here. I'm trying to formulate here. I'm just more trying to look for as far as because you mentioned the people who are obviously your CEOs, your executives.
Oh yeah.
They had to influence you in some way for you to even feel like, okay, I could do that. Like, what is it that they said? What is it that they did? What is it that sparked it? Because I don't think, yes, it may have come from your own, just, who you are. I'm just trying to see if it was something that sparked it, or was it just, just you saying, no, that's me right there.
Yep. So that's a good one. I'll say it's a combination of both. I think it's something that I've always intrinsically wanted, is to definitely always climb up, but also just them seeing that in me has been a plus. I've performance reviews and then just one-on-one conversations, and in terms of just my personality too. I feel like I'm always really good in terms of, even at work, dealing with co-workers, subordinates, and people that also report to me, in terms of how I bring the team together. Like within my company before, they always said there's always silos, because I'm director of quality. So there's the quality thing, and how production, operations, everybody doesn't like the quality guy. Now it's the police guy. They try to, do things under you and make sure you don't see it, all the stuff like that. But I've kind of made it real open when people actually come to me before they, come to me and really tell me what they're doing, and not try to sneak one little one off. So I think, yeah. So just with that though, and also just the feedback from my boss in terms of him being a mentor, and him telling me, man, dude, if there's anything you want to do, just future work, even within the company, he knows that. I said, he always tells me that there's no ceiling in terms of my role, and I shouldn't see my role as just my role. There's always just little
Great
things
words.
here and there. Yep. And then also, the CEO I'm talking about, my boss he's been really up there in terms of he used to be the CEO of Novozymes. And then he used to work in the White House and lobby, and so he's done a lot of those different things.
Experience, he has
a lot of those. So just him being a mentor, I'll say that's my mentor.
That's good.
He's definitely been trying to push me in a different direction. He tells me stuff, sometimes he gives me tasks outside the quality stuff, and he says that's the way to grow. And so now I'm doing supply chain related things. I'm doing different little things, and really, if you want to really grow up within an organization, you need to understand those different facets,
right?
Not
right.
just stick to
not
one.
just one.
Right.
Exactly.
Quality, supply chain.
It allows you to understand also which area you can help the most at, where where you fit in. Where you fit in.
Yep.
That's how you add value. You learn all these little aspects. And I can easily take care of this, for example.
Yeah.
And you come in and you do it. Boom, there goes your thing, right?
Yep.
But it's good. You have that mentor, and I like the fact that it's a mentor. It's a mentor without being a mentor in a way, because he's not formally he's not you don't. You can. I'm sure you can call him when you need advice and stuff like that, but just his presence is alone pushes
exactly.
you
Exactly.
to do
Yeah,
better. It's your accountability partner more than
Exactly.
anything.
This goes back to, remember what I said this on the last episode. What frustrates me the most is when people have mentors, coaches, who are not in the field. I said this literally the last episode, and it's difficult for, and at least for myself. I can only speak for myself. I can't speak for anybody else, but it's difficult for me to look up to someone, and I hate politics. This is exactly what I'm painting right now, politics, where someone tells you to do something or, hey, you should do this, but yet again, you have never seen them do it ever in their life. Who are you to tell me to go do something that you have never done?
Right, exactly.
How does that work?
Yeah.
I mean, hey, if you have done it, great. Are you currently doing it? That's the conversation I need to know now. And that's the question I'm going to have now. Are you currently doing it? No, you're not. Why? Because that's above my pay grade. Okay, well, then it's above my pay grade, too. Because I'm looking at you. You and I, the same person.
Exactly.
That's a good
true.
point. Yep, very good point.
It's like, just because you may have it, the experience, the money, the whatever it is, the lifestyle, that doesn't differentiate anybody, right? You do what you feel, and I love what you said. You're doing what you love. There's no one that could take that
away from you.
You're doing what you love, and that's one thing that everyone listening here today should really identify. What in the world do you love?
Right.
Because when you find out that one thing that you love, just keep doing it. The things you hate, again, don't do it. I mean, you can do it up to a certain extent. It's just don't waste your time doing something. I mean, we all have one life to live. Live it for yourself. I mean, like literally, everybody's time here is limited. We don't know when that time is up. I hate to get here, but it's just reality. I want everybody to slap themselves and get into reality now and just identify, like, yo, what is it that you really love? What is it that you don't like? What is it that you absolutely hate and you can't do? And just take those things little by little off your list and replace them with something that you love. And that's where you're gonna find the enjoyment, the things that you do, and you're just gonna laugh every day. You're gonna wake up and smile. Like,
That's true.
It's not work anymore.
Exactly. It really isn't.
And you're gonna hear me talk a lot about this. One aspect that it kind of boils down to is that peace of mind. What brings you peace of mind? When you're doing something, whether it's your job, whether it's who you're hanging out with, do you have that peace of mind? That I can, like, for example, when I call you to hang out sometime, it's like I know I don't have to worry about you getting blacked out, punching somebody in the face, causing chaos and stuff. I have the peace of mind.
Traumatized.
I have the peace of mind that I'm with a responsible individual who knows how to handle himself in situations. So knowing that, of course, I'm gonna hang out with you. Same thing with the job. If it's a job that's bringing me stress, why do I have to to be in that environment? Yes, the money, but does the money override my health, my mental health? Does the relationship is value more than than my life? It's like, do you have peace of mind in the thing that you're doing? 9 times out of 10, we have peace of mind in the food that we want to eat, because we can easily say, hey, I want a burger. Okay, you go get a burger, right? Because that's what you want. It makes you happy. Life is good. Can you make that same decision with everything you do in life? You get that peace of mind, you good, bro. And by you identifying what you want to do, you're happy. You have that peace of mind when you wake up in the morning. It's not like oh, I'm about to go deal with some things and stuff like that I don't want to hear. Why are you putting yourself in that environment? Life is meant to be enjoyed. You should be able to enjoy it. All these things are given to you, not for you to suffer, but for you to reap the rewards of it as well. And then pass it on, and maybe make it better if you have the ability to make it better for somebody else before you pass it on. So.
I mean, I like what you said. I'm going to literally bounce my idea right off of it. You talked about reaping the rewards from it. So, Michael, how do you plan on reaping the rewards from, kind of just what your plan is? Like, what is it that you're going to do tomorrow, next week, next month, next year, I don't know, to go ahead and make sure that you're reaping those rewards?
Good. And reaping the rewards you mean in more tangible or intangible way?
Whatever you decide, however you want to answer it.
So
I don't have it. I don't have it tied.
So it's not tied to monetary or material aspect. It's more about So once you have that peace of mind that everything that you're doing is good, all these milestones that you're gonna achieve, in terms of how are you then gonna look at that and say, hey, I'm, it's been beneficial, one, to you and also to other people.
Oh yeah, that's really good. Yeah. So I think the answer to that question is I'm definitely all about continuous improvement, personal development, and all those different things. And I think with the direction that we've talked about, I think that just makes me a more rounded individual. That makes me learn a lot as I'm growing in my career or growing in different ways. And I feel like we get in those, and eventually I'll figure out, because I definitely want to do something else. Eventually, I think all those skills will come in very, very handy in terms of either starting a company or So I think growing in the corporate ladder, I think I look at it more as acquiring skills than anything else. Acquiring a lot of skills that are very, very transferable to something else.
That you want to tap. Okay,
Exactly.
that's great.
Yeah. What would you say now is the most difficult part of, personal development, trying to acquire those skills, trying to, go on, chase the corporate ladder? Like, what would you say is most difficult about it?
Man, I'll say probably time.
Yeah.
Definitely time,
he's
man.
my type of guy. He doesn't have patience either.
Time is, because I mean, you work all those hours at work, and you know how they always say the time you spend off work, like right next to if you're working 8 to 5 or whatever, that time between 5 and 10 p.m. is like, if you use that time daily, you can definitely move a lot.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
But just that time, I use it to work out, and then use Netflix. There's different things that distract. So you just gotta really plan.
Take care of yourself with that time.
Exactly.
I think the best question to ask yourself when you're faced with that is, what is constantly inspiring you to keep going after what you want? What is, not necessarily what are you chasing, but just keeping that goal in front of your mind, right? Don't let it go behind you. Don't let it go to the back, because once it's in the back, it's a matter of time before it's gone. You stop thinking about it, So you always want to think about it, but you also want to think about, what inspires you constantly to be able to dream. Again, every day, dreaming again and again and again and every day, and just kind of having that vision. That's at least for myself, right? That's one thing that helps me truly indeed just keep going. It's like, how could you do this every day, the same thing for the next 5, 10, 20 years? It's a different level of enjoyment. I don't see what I see just quite yet, but at some point in time, everyone will be able to see it, because it's going to be reality.
Yep.
And
I
at
like
that
that. I really like that.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think, and I'm going to use an example that goes way back in time. It's just think about it. And that's really the best advice I can give you right now, is think about it. When you're done with your work day, right? So whether it's 8 to 5, you're 9 to 5, and you have all this time left, what is some of the things that you constantly think about, and in terms of what you need to be doing, and those are the things that you must be doing, right? And those are the things that your heart wants you to be doing. That will probably, your heart doesn't want your life to go to shambles, or like to go bad. So we get confused in what we see in the outer world, right? But what's inside of us is what dictate the actions that we need to be taking. So think about it constantly. Think about what you want to do. The more you think about it, the more you will be willing to take action on these things. If you think about work every day, and you're able to get those tasks done, right? You think about eating every day, you get a meal, right? You think about showering, you get that. Just think about it long enough that it becomes so embedded into you that you decide to take those action. Because the more you think about it, the more inspirations you get, the more ideas you get within that specific subject. I can sit here and give you just one simple topic, and everybody's going to come up with different idea. If I say a bottle, you're going to think of a different bottle. Rod's going to think of a different bottle. He's going to think of that bottle in completely different ways than what you're going to think about. But all of them make sense. And that's what, and the more you think about that bottle, you could think about it on your way to work. You could think different aspect of the bottle is going to pop into your mind. It's the same concept with your life. When that 5 to 10, like you're saying, what do you want to do during those times? What is something that you constantly think about of doing during those times?
I like that,
Go out there and start doing them. Because otherwise, it's just going to be sitting there, and without any action, you don't do anything, right? And I'm going to use this example. As a kid, one of the very first thing we realized, right? I'm watching this wonderful documentary I think everybody should watch.
What's the name of it?
It's on Apple TV. It's called Becoming You. It basically talks about, the first 200 days of our lives. The very first 2,000 days, which is basically from 0 to 5 years of your life. Like that's basically when we discover ourselves. Funny enough, that's when we discover ourselves, our passions is in those 5 years.
Wow.
So and after watching that, and now I'm having conversation with my mom, and you can see the trend because I will ask her a question: how was I when I was 2? One of some of the things that I was doing, and she would tell me, and I look at myself now, I'm like, it makes sense.
That's what you are.
It makes sense.
Wow,
It makes sense. So anyway, to get back to that,
You about to make me call my mom and ask her how it was when I was 5.
Some questions.
no,
man.
absolutely.
Those are the old
I think,
tapes.
yeah. So you want to focus on how were you when you were 3 and 4? The 4, even 5. Like, what are some of the things you were doing at that time? Like, one of my very first questions was, my mom, what was the first thing I drew? I'm not gonna reveal that, but put maybe in further episodes. But it's like, what is the first thing I drew? Things like that, because you discover a lot about yourself, your passion really at that age, and it gets lost in the translation the more you're exposed to the word, because the more you see, the more you get confused in the things that you want to do. That's what happens.
I can see that.
You're
trying to figure it out though. That's what we're all trying to do. Every day we wake up trying to figure something out.
Right.
Like, not everyone does not have the answer every single day.
Yeah.
And I think that's what you're kind of mentioning there is just, as you get older, you learn a little bit more and you're trying to figure out a little bit more. But when you're younger, you just know what you know, and that's just that.
Right. Exactly.
So it's interesting. Okay.
That is interesting.
Yeah. So what I wanted to get to is, I was talking about think about it, constantly think about what you want to do. As a kid, when you realize that you have legs and hands, the first thing you want to do is learn how to walk.
Yeah.
So you're constantly, every time you wake up, watch a baby. Just spend 20 minutes watching a baby that does not know how to walk just yet. They will spend the whole day trying to figure out how to get up and walk.
Yeah.
And after 2-3 weeks, boom, they finally, but they're gonna fall. How many times they're gonna fall in that process, right? That's the same thing with our life. It's like, bro, you're gonna think about it. You're gonna take some action. You're gonna fail on the way to it as well. Those 5 to 10, those 5 to 10, you're gonna find yourself in position where sometimes you don't even want to go to the gym. you get, and that's that's the reality of life. We expect it to be perfect. It's not gonna be that perfect.
Right.
We're gonna fail. Like, that kid, as a kid, as a baby, you're gonna fall 10,000 times before you learn how to walk. But the minute you learn how to walk, you become independent and can do even more than what you were doing when you were crawling. But you were persistent enough
to do it.
Yeah. We have that. We all have that ability to be persistent. We've proven it.
Right.
As kids, we've
We've
done it before. Where is it now?
Yeah.
That's the question. Where is it now? How can we get so confused in in everything that we see that it's no longer, that burning desire is no longer there. So my job is to kind of plant that seed in people's mind and bring that back to life. You reunite that life with your passion and run with it.
Man,
because that's how you're going to be happy. You wake up and bro, I woke up, I know what I'm doing today. Do you know what you're doing today?
He did it again, guys. Man, he did it again. I hate that we waited to now to ask this question, but we mentioned that you were, once a fan, now a contributor. Why did you continuously listen to us? Like, what is it that you were getting out of listening to the podcast in itself?
Right. So 6 months. This has been, we've known each other within, a 6 month period. You tap into the podcast, and you continue to listen to it, which is kind of, okay, how has the 6 months been to you, and why are you listening to it?
It's been good. I mean, I read a lot of books too. I know I've heard this guy reads a lot of, Francis reads a lot of Audible and all that. I do a lot of that, and you're hearing it from people you don't really know. You're hearing all these different advices that you can't really connect to. But I listen to you guys, and I know you guys, and just hearing the stories. Some of it are things that I've heard before. Some of it are things that you just hear. They're just tidbits here and there, But just hearing it from you just brings a different light to it. It brings a different light. You connect to it more. I mean, just the substance of it, the stories. I mean, they go a long way. They go a long way. So I connect to it. In terms of just the knowledge, in terms of just the different quotes, the different things, about life, on staying on your path, not staying at home watching Netflix, going out there, being a yes person. Oh yeah, I'm a yes man. Somebody asks you, oh, let's go out to this, this event here. You never know what could happen at those events like that. So just getting out and just connecting, and rather than staying just the different episodes have been pretty good. And then also one thing I like also is just how you guys connect to people in the community. I've learned a lot of about different businesses that I didn't even know about.
Let's get
it. Different places, man. Man, you should probably check this place out. It's just the little tidbits about Raleigh and this area to Triangle. I think that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
I love it. I'm glad that we've been able to help you in any venture journey that you're currently in. We're gonna be doing this for quite some time, so stick around, man. Don't go nowhere.
I'm in, man.
And you've seen, you said it yourself. It's been listening to people who you can kind of relate to is important, because these are experiences that we all go through, and we can all learn from it. You will learn from it differently than I would, but you might benefit from my perspective, more than somebody else's perspective. But it's the fact that it's a journey that we're all taking together, and we don't want to do it alone. So, these concepts that we're giving and these advice that we're giving, you're able to implement it on your life, on your day to day right away. You don't have to go over there, pay a course and then do this and this and this. You can apply these things, right away and run with it. Which is cool. So I appreciate you even, tapping into it and staying on course and listening to this episode, because it shows us how, the work that we're doing is not just going in vain. It's actually being received, in the right way. And we will strive to keep that going for as long as we can, as long as God gives us the ability to continue doing this. But yeah. I want to say, and I want to kind of add to that, and to me, and it boils down to the conversation me and Ron had when we were like, hey, we talk about Walk and Grow. Let's have, you on the show, because, you're really a depiction of what we're trying to do. You start at a point, there's a lot of things that, you may not have known when you first met me on, at that TEDx, and now you kind of see what direction we're going in. We're not just a bunch of two individuals who want to see you on a Saturday and drink our life away. That's there is a plan and agenda.
We can do that once in a while. I'm not gonna front.
Life is meant to be celebrated, and I love that, because that's a way of celebrating. But your celebration is calculated. It's not a celebration to just like, hey, I don't care about tomorrow celebration. Right, yeah. It's a celebration that, hey, I did this. I can't wait to do more. That's the type of celebration we're talking. It's different, exactly.
Yeah, celebrating.
Right, I went and it could be as small as that. And I'm not saying this so that people just take advantage of it, but it could be as small as that. Hey, I made it through this week and completed these tasks.
Boom. That's a win.
That's a win. Let me go out there and get a glass of wine, for example, whatever, a bottle of
chill for the day.
And chill for the day, because that's more reward to me. Or let me get, hop in the hot tub, whatever it is. But you're celebrating those little milestones, because, I stated the other day, it's more important than getting to the top.
Yeah.
When you get to the top, that gratification is maybe 10 minutes, right? And then you're back to reality to like, what's next?
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
More money, more problems, right?
More money, more problems.
So,
right.
Really,
you gotta enjoy the journey.
You gotta enjoy that journey. Yeah. Enjoy that journey, and that's what's important, to be around the right people as you're going through that journey as well. But I'm honored to be able to have you here on this show actually share your story. And I want more people like you to be able to come and share their story as well. We have a group where me and Ron and I and more of our friends get together and kind of talk about important topics in life. And one of our recent topic was how, and which was very interesting. We talked about friendship, like what Leon. Shout out to Leon for bringing this question up. He said, in your friends, in your relationship, what do you look for?
Yep.
what makes you, even want to stay in these connections. And a lot of people talked, and we kind of collectively brought our ideas, and there was some very good idea, description of what it means to have a good relationship, a good friends. And I consider this one to be a good one. And I'm gonna give you the same answer that I gave on that show, on our call, is that you have to be, and everything is now a show.
Yeah. I'm glad you realized what you
everything is
said.
now a show. On that call, it's basically the core of it all is, how do we become honorable men? What it means to be an honorable man is the man
And
who,
woman.
And woman as well, just honorable individual. I want to be able to sit in a room full of honorable individual, because I know it's a room where I will have peace of mind, that everything will be taken care of. I can trust the people in that room.
Sure.
I can run with these people. I can close my eyes. I can leave my family around these individuals.
Yes, sir.
So when I'm making these connections, these relationships,
That's what you're seeking for.
I'm seeking for honorable men. And what makes you an honorable man is the man worthy of praise, a man who's can take action when needed, and is responsible, self-efficient, to be able to do things without somebody relying on other individual. There's a lot of pieces, we talked a lot about action taking. A lot of it boils down to what do you do and what do you stand for. So you may not, if you sit down today, for those who are listening to this, you could be like, I don't consider myself yet an honorable man. This
Or
could be a good thing. A woman or
Leaving
individual.
my woman out, man.
No. I mean,
Come on, man.
Right. You get what I'm saying, though. You get what I'm saying.
Come for him, please, woman.
Sure.
Go
for me.
attack. You
But
know
they
where to
know
go
where
find
my
him.
heart. They know where my heart lies. Nobody's ever gonna attack me. But that conversation needs to be had. Is okay. If I'm not there, what are some of the steps that I need to take to get there? Who do I need? What are some honorable men of my life that I know that I need to surround myself with to be in that conversation? But the more honorable men we can create, or women, or individual in general, the better our society is going to be.
Absolutely.
And our families will be better. You will have that peace of mind, bro.
Yeah.
Think about this. If I could trust you, Ron, and 20 other people, when I go away, do you think I'm going to go with worries? No, because I know my family and everybody else is good.
Peace of mind.
That's it.
I
Let's
mean,
create that peace of mind in our circles.
Look at the word, though. I mean, I hate to, again, go here, but he said peace of mind. What does the word, when we all pass, what's the word that's in there?
Rest in peace. Right. Rest in peace.
Come on now.
It's peace
Like,
again. It's peace
The
again,
word
yeah.
peace is in there because everyone is seeking for that peace.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all we all want.
And you
Like,
can have that peace
you
now.
can have that. Not you can
Yes,
have
you
it
can
if
have it
if you
now.
work towards it.
Right.
That
Yeah.
peace
Yeah.
isn't
Yeah.
gonna
Exactly.
just with the
Well, that's what
snap
I'm
of your fingers.
saying. You got to take
Yeah,
action,
peace
but
of mind.
it's
Yeah.
you don't have to wait until you die to have that peace. That's
Yeah.
what I'm trying to say.
Damn, bro, you said the word.
Yeah. No. I mean, we have
Reality.
to be.
Yeah.
We have to be real with these things.
Okay. I mean, I don't really have anything else, but I do have one last question. What's the biggest takeaway you hope everyone listening here learns? Whether it's about, it could be really about anything. The podcast, it could be about your journey. It could be about, what you're trying to achieve, what you've learned. It could be something you've heard yesterday. Just what's the biggest takeaway? Would you say?
Or anything you want to add, anything
Yeah.
that you want to
Okay.
tap
No,
into.
I'll definitely would say the biggest gem, the biggest takeaway is to be willing to get out the house and surround yourself with wonderful people that you're willing to connect to. I think on one of the podcasts, I was listening to the last one where you talked about getting out and having your ideas grow legs,
Yeah.
with other
Yeah.
people. So I think that's just so wonderful because most times you might have all these different ideas, but you don't have it all solid yet. So I mean, just going out, telling people what you're working on or what you're trying to do, and just kind of getting that feedback. I think it's wonderful. So I think my biggest thing, which is the biggest thing everyone should be doing, is surrounding yourself, going out there, and I mean, if somebody invites you, say yes. Say yes. I read
yes
this book, it's
individual.
Shonda Rhimes' Year of Yes. I don't know if you guys have read this book.
I
It's a
haven't.
really, really good book where 1 year she just took out, She usually says no a lot. She was staying at home a lot, and then one year she's like, I'm gonna say yes to whatever
everything.
anybody tells me.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Man, so,
There's a movie on that too.
Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
So she started saying yes to different things, and I mean, she's a mogul right now.
Mhm.
Yep, different shows, and that all came around her doing that. So I would say, yeah, just go out there, man, meet people, and share your ideas, and just surround yourself, be in good circles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that key, the key with the yes aspect is that you learn. It's an experience you learn. Whether it worked out or not, by you saying yes, you learned something.
Absolutely. Yep.
By saying no, you're preventing yourself from an opportunity to learn. That's why, she turned into becoming a yes individual, because she wanted to learn as much as possible
Yeah.
to be able to then say, okay, how do I want all of these experience that I've learned to play into my life?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay. I mean, where could the people find you if they want? Like, they want to learn a little bit more about you. They want to connect with you on a deeper level. Like, where can the people find you?
Oh yeah, I'm on LinkedIn. Connect with me professionally. Michael Aromeh, professional name. I'm on social media, Instagram.
Yeah, we'll put your
And,
LinkedIn in the
yeah,
bio. Just should we put the LinkedIn or the IG, the Instagram on the bio? What do you think?
We could do both. I mean,
Gotcha.
wherever you want people to connect with you, just
Yeah.
let us know, and we'll make sure to go ahead and definitely make sure that people have that so they can get in touch with you to make sure that, if you want to fact check us, go ahead.
Right.
We're giving you the source himself.
Yeah.
Go do it yourself. We have no
Absolutely.
problem with doing it.
Yeah, no
Yeah.
problem at all.
But like I say, this man is an honorable man, and if you want to tap into his mind and connect with him and work with him, I think you should definitely do that. Just because it will be an experience that you're not gonna regret. And I'm being glad that I met you 6 months ago, and I know we're gonna be together for quite some time. So. Yes, sir. Thank you
Yep,
for hopping
no,
on.
appreciate
Thank you
that,
for
Francis.
sharing your
Yep.
story.
Yeah, appreciate
you
that,
know.
Ron. That was
Absolutely.
good.
Appreciate you for being here, man.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. Yep.
For those that are listening still, I didn't see any reviews come up last week. Did you see any, Francis?
No.
You didn't.
No.
I don't know what's going on. I guess you guys didn't listen to the end of the episode, or didn't probably listen at all. So if you didn't, please go leave a review. We're gonna start reading them, so
Yeah.
you can get our live reaction. And in order for you to get our live reaction, you gotta leave one. You gotta start somewhere.
And one thing worth mentioning with that, if we start getting some traction on the review, we'll
Start? No, when?
no, right, when we do, actually, thank you.
Get out of here.
When we do start getting these review, it will expedite the process of us giving you live content to where we can go on IG live, because now the interaction is fluent and it's going. So help us help you in a way, and let's help each other, because we want to be able to have this conversation. I know it's hard to be in the same room together, so let's do it virtually. Your feedback is very important, because we want to be able to do a lot of things together, whether it's virtually or physically. But
Yeah, and I
You know
personally
what's
don't
up.
like
You know
this
what's up.
virtual stuff, so I can't wait to get in person, man. That's what I'm waiting for, man.
That's the
Yeah,
way,
let's
man.
do
You
it.
gotta look someone down.
oh, I gotta tell you, and this is job related. Well, we were talking about corporations. So they basically wanted everybody to come back to the office in April, right? And they say, hey, by so and so, you should be able to come back to the office. Last week was the first week. Everybody came back. This week, ghost town. Nobody came back. Nobody
Oh, wow.
came back. So basically, the thing is, okay, you can't really make it mandatory for people to come back to the office.
I think they can. It's just gonna take time.
No, because now people can easily go find a job where they don't
remote,
have
yeah.
to
There's a
be
lot
in
of
the
jobs there
office.
that
So
fully
so
remote.
you have to adhere to people's requests.
Yeah.
I know a guy who was supposed to go back to the office in New York, and he said, "Hey, I'm comfortable at home." They hire somebody else in this spot, but he kept the job working at home.
Oh, wow.
Because people,
That's fair.
you don't want to lose people.
wanna
Do you know
lose
how many people you're gonna lose if you say, "Hey, you
Yeah.
must be in the
Yeah.
office"?
Yeah.
When we just proved that for 2 years we can work from home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
that's gonna be a challenge for a lot of companies
Yeah.
out there.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So yeah, because I'm able to kind of see a few data, and you can see like the traffic, the foot traffic in the office, and the connection at home, VPN. You can track how many people are working from home.
Mhm.
You can see people are still mostly at home. At least for my company, people are still at home. But yeah, these are some of the extra info you get
Yeah.
if you listen to.
Alrighty, guys. Well, don't forget, leave a review, Follow us on Instagram, Walk and Grow. You can reach out to us on our Gmail, walkandgrow@gmail.com. We hope today's conversation was a conversation that you can take back home with your friends, family, loved ones, and be able to talk about the things that we talked about today and, challenge each other. This is what this content is truly indeed here to do. It's to challenge each other to make sure that we're all growing. I mean, if you're not growing, what are you really doing? And I'll leave it right there.
And really, man, the focus is just leveling up. Cause I know the life I want, I'm just setting it up. Removing those that's close who try messing it up. Can't wait for champagne toast with the relevant bunch. Like, what's up? Yeah. Like, what you do, homie? What's your vision? How you thinking? How you move, homie? And is you cool, homie? You thinking building, then that's something we could do, homie.